I don't want to know.
Hi, everybody. Sam here. I hope you're having a great day wherever you're at in the world today. I am so happy to be talking with Andre again. We're trying to do this on Monday afternoons early. It's almost noon out in LA. It's about 2 o'clock almost here in Texas.
Hmm.
And we are having some fun chatting. I am the founder and community host of an online community for women called Safe Heart Connections. We work on helping women learn how to love themselves more fully, and their life gets better by default and they get to make connections. Well, Andre is a natural fit and tie into this because not only does he work with women and they get to learn to love themselves more fully, but they actually get to understand that they're not broken,
Hmm.
that the things have maybe not worked out the way that they thought they would, and he gets to help them understand kind of where the wheels came off for them, and then they get to learn how to create the relationship of their dreams. And I am one of Andre's clients, and I'm so thankful for how he has helped me and my life. And Andre, I'm so glad to be able to chat with you again today.
It's always a delight talking to you. Just always. Thank you. Uh,
You're so funny. So we have a topic today. First of
yeah.
all, somebody might be new and they may not know who you are, and they're thinking, "What does this musician have to tell me about relationships?" Well, first of all, you're not a musician. You just kind of have that look, and it's kind of it's good.
It's,
Um, Hey, work with
it's my
what you
it's
got.
my hair. I let it grow. When somebody like guys at the gym sometimes they go, so why do you cut your hair? Like why don't you cut your hair? They go, what, it's like it looks like you? Like I don't get it. Like this is me. Like seriously, like why are you bothering me? You know what I mean? Like this is
Tell everybody that's watching, especially for people that are new, that don't know who you are, a little bit about who you are, how you help in the world, and um, just how kind of give them the behind the scenes of what's been going on with you.
beautiful. So my name is Andre Parody. I am not a musician. I am not a drummer. I am a relationship coach and NLP coach. NLP I use to release the trauma from your childhood, the past relationships, because we all have different levels of abandonment issues, neglect issues, abuse issues. Some people have sexual issues, abuse on top of that. So everybody's got their stuff, and that's essential. No one can be guided into healthy relationships with the baggage of their past. So that's essential. That's the NLP work. That's the grunt work. That's the basis work to liberate you from all the stuff that you concluded was good or bad about you. Like really, typically it's bad. Like if people walk around with the "I'm not lovable" syndrome, "I'm not good enough" syndrome, "I'll amount to nothing" syndrome, "life is terrible things," "you can't trust men," "you can't trust women," like all those things that are basically stuck in your subconscious will drive you. That has to be cleaned up. So that's NLP work. I'm also an educator of effective communication strategies. It's always a mouthful, isn't it? Educator of effective communication strategies. Because in my world, it's all communications. It's all, especially in relationship and love dynamics, where people would struggle with all the communications typically as a rule from what I see in business, with the family, with their kids, but the love dynamic, right? The personal love relationship, woo, super elevated because there's more at stake. There's more emotion. Like you get your feelings hurt easier, right? So loving more often throws us in being more triggered, sensitive, especially if we have our very own triggers. So communication is incredible. It's imperative to learn. I have scripts that I teach how to approach your partner respectfully, so that actually you have a communication and can ask for adjustment without starting a fight. Because not knowing how to do this, as a woman, if you lean in because now you're finally sick of blah blah, if you approach him with that, yeah, look at your face, you know where that's going to go, right? And so you stop trying because you create more of a fight, more of a disconnect when you bring stuff up that doesn't work for you. There's a way to do this that works really, really well, right? So the script for this stuff. So on both sides. So that's my work. That's what I do. That's what I love to do. Ultimately, I want to alleviate the pain and confusion between men and women in relationships. That's the work. That's what I live for.
Yeah.
And like you, for some of my clients, I'm an ordained minister. I get to fly in and marry you myself.
Yes. Yes, you
Yes,
did. It was amazing.
it
It
was.
was,
It
it
was.
was, every time we talk about it, it makes me go back to that moment. And one of the things that was the most cool for me was knowing, my story, but other people don't, is I have lived my life the whole time of just doing things kind of to say I did it, not really experiencing life, having my feelings and emotions shut down
Yep.
and not experiencing life. And in the middle of the wedding ceremony in the river, I'm standing there thinking, I don't want this to end.
Everybody was crying.
It
Everybody was
was,
we were all
it
crying. It
was,
was ridiculous.
it was amazing.
It
Yeah.
was it was
And
godly. It
so,
was godly, heavenly in nature, in water. You guys, oh,
yeah,
whoosh.
it was perfect. And so we're, a year and a few months in and still very happy. Yay.
Well, you understand.
That's a big thing for me because usually by now I'm already like, what did I do?
Well,
Right?
it's also you're now with a man, now with another boy, because you attracted boys because you were too much in masculine. So that was just the nature of the magnets. That's very confusing for ladies. I'm going to say this, ladies, if you keep attracting, inadequate men that want to take advantage of you, that don't want to provide, protect, support, give, that's not a man. Man's instinct just do just that. So if you keep attracting guys who are trying to take from you as opposed to give to you, try to make it about them as opposed to men protecting and wanting to make it about you, your safety, your comfort, you're in your masculine, you're attracting boys. And that's the second thing we learn, right? As soon as we get off the trauma, we learn it's like boys, guys, and men. And understanding there's nothing wrong with you. You're overcalibrated in your masculine per your circumstances, and it could be adjusted, it could be repaired, it could be recalibrated. And that's the point, because if you want men to show up in the way that every lady wants a man to show up, right? To provide, protect, cherish, give, support, and lead her, right? Lead her. And I teach men the same thing. If you don't know, women want to be led in life. That makes them feel safe with a guy that's got it together. So I tell the man, you have to know where you're going if you want a woman to follow you. And if you know where you're going, you're going to follow her. It makes the whole
Yes.
thing, cattywonka. And it goes, this is what makes relationship confusing and frustrating, because the system has been hijacked and rewired backwards in the name of culture. It doesn't work. So
Yeah. I
back,
remember in past relationships, I'd always say, well, if I want a man that's going to be a leader, I can't be the leader, right? So I knew
right,
that intuitively, but I was still picking people that weren't going to lead, and then I'd be mad. Well, I want you to lead. Why aren't you leading?
right. As
Right?
you're
And then I
leading
should
him
tell
into
him
that,
how,
right?
yeah,
As you're telling
yeah,
him how to lead, which is and
complete
that's
opposite.
right, but that's a trap. That's what most everybody, people don't understand. Women want men to lead, but they come from a place of not safety in the first place. So you have to protect, provide for yourself. You lead in your own life, and to let go of that lead, that control, when you've been raised that you had to survive on some level, right? It's terrifying. So you hang on to your control thing and say, you need to communicate better, and I want you to lead, which is you leading. And he goes, what? And it's confusing. And a boy will not follow, right? And they become passive aggressive, and man goes, you need to just stop talking, right? Like men won't take it at all. But in that energy, you want to attract pretty masculine men. You'll you'll push them away without even knowing. They don't get near you. They don't get near that energy. They don't acknowledge it. They don't say hi. They don't smile at you. They just go, ugh. Like it's palatable. So if you're
Yeah.
not
And
attracting men, your energy is probably out of whack.
yeah, I loved how one of the first things you teach is about the guys, boys, and men. And if you learn just that piece, it can be a total game changer
Freedom.
because when you can start to understand, even like we've talked about with me on text messaging or whatever, before you even meet somebody, you're planning something and you can tell, oh no, I'm just going to tap out of that one because that's not going to happen again.
It's not a man,
And
right? When you can spot the boys, because these are the dangerous, toxic ones. Really, those are the toxic ones. They cheat, they lie, they scam, they con. They want your time, your money, your sex, right? That they don't want to give, they want to take. It's very simple. They look like the other two types. They're completely different in temperament, but again, the language they use, the things that they say, face to face, on the phone, or by text, is so specific. It's so obvious. So are the other two. But imagine dating without never being afraid of being conned again by another douchebag or a little, like a guy who's tells you all the right things up front to seduce you, and now he's moved to your apartment, he's driving your car, you're lending him money that you're never going to see again. You're trying to help him get on his feet because he's suffering. It's so hard for him, right? That's the loop. It's so hard, right? And so you give because you're a loving, nurturing woman, and 6 months into it, you go, what in the hell happened to my life? Because his game is to take as much as possible, and as long as the more you make it easy for him, the more he sticks. At the same time, the more he takes, and the less you get. It's horrible. So again, it's energy. So imagine being able to date without the fear of being stuck with another one of those, because if you keep attracting those guys, you think that's men, but that's not men, right? So again, how do we
No. Yeah.
polarize something different? It's not that
Well,
hard. It's not that hard, right? You did it, of
yeah, I did it with your help, and I had to do the work, so I own that
course,
part.
of
But it's
course.
what I learned from you. And the other day we were talking, and I had this breakthrough. So we're 3.5 years in on this thing of us working together,
Yep.
and we're having a conversation about this. And I had a total breakthrough the day that I met Monty. There was another person there, and I like at the brewery where we met, we're all there hanging out, and it's like I didn't even really see the other guy, the other person. I was drawn to Monty, and it was because he is a masculine man. And as it turned out over the course of time, we got to know a little bit about this other person. Total boy,
Right.
total boy.
So your radar had been adjusted that in the moment where without the work, you would have gone for the boy instinctively, naturally, because that's polarity would have worked it that way. You being more masculine, him being more feminine, fun guy, easy to be with, fun guy, fun guy. Am I right? He's a fun guy. Everybody likes him, right? Those are the boys, right? Not that men can be fun, but like this lifestyle. So for you to for him to be invisible to your radar, and for you to actually be able to be spotting a man who's now your husband, that was a moment, right? And we put that together last week. That was like
Yeah,
you
like I like
realized the radar
we're
had been
just
changed. The radar had been tuned the other way. Oh, fantastic! The other guy's now invisible. Woo! That's not.
there's so much power in that. And
Mm,
so when I first started working with you, and I went out on a couple of dates before I met Monty,
yep.
and it was I felt safe because I felt like it wasn't a boy, and whether or not that person turned out to be my person, I felt like they were a man, and I would be able to trust them and not feel like
Mm,
I was going to be abused or mistreated or
right.
taken down,
Well,
the
because
path.
men provide protect, right? Energetically, you could feel them. You feel safe with them. Ah, good one, right? Like, so that alone, ladies, like the anxiety of like not feeling safe, which is what takes everything away from you. If you don't feel safe, everything lovely about you is out the window.
Yeah.
Everything lovely, your femininity, your warmth, your radiance, your magnetic, like, gone, right? Because you have to turn it all down. But to really be able to be in the presence of a real man and experience that, feeling safe, whether it's this is your man or not, right? But like this is what with back to nature, back to how the polarity works naturally, masculine and feminine dance, yin yang, and in that, if him being a man slips you into your feminine, you can let go, you can relax, you can smile, you can enjoy your wine, you could just be there, feeling safe and able to connect, and it's really really simple, right? As nature does its thing, but you have to be in a place where you cleaned up the past. That's
Yeah,
the caveat.
that's so
That's
good. Because otherwise, I'm sure I would have been drawn to the other person based on everything that I'd ever
Yep.
experienced. If I hadn't done that work, I would have been drawn to the other person. And 6 or 9 months into it, I'd been like, "What just happened again?" And I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Okay, really?
Yeah.
What's wrong with me?" Well,
Right.
there was nothing wrong. I just learned things that weren't serving me,
Yep.
and was able to clean up some of that because
That's it.
of you.
Thank you. Because these things are imprinted. It sounds like just to give you a little piece for the like, how does that work, right? Your subconscious, our subconscious is driving our lives. 95% of our lives are invisible to us, and So when you hear people say we only use 5% of our brains, that's what it means. We're kind of conscious 5%. Everything else is what you believe is true and right, and what we're confirming all the time and proving. If you want to prove to yourself, because you learn that as a child that you're not lovable, you're going to spend the rest of your life going, see, and your subconscious will go, well, yeah, that's say there's another one. Oh, and there's another one. Oh, men are dangerous. You can't trust it. There's another one. And you're not lovable. So this guy's abusive. There's another one, right? That's what we do for the rest of our lives. It's crazy. So the cleanup is essential. You know what I mean? It's essential just to really be a choice because this never will stop. It will never stop otherwise. So I'm insisting on this, just like understand the urgency in my voice. If you see the pattern, you're stuck. And we have to like that stuff has to be unblocked, released, so you can be a choice and be completely present. And it's funny. The good thing is when you open these channels as a woman, if you're masculine and you attract boys, the moment that shifts and you feel safe with men, the boys get repulsed. Like you're no longer interesting in magnetic because this is a woman who requires a man to step up like energetically, and they're like, oh, I don't want to do that. Ugh, I want her to take care of me. I want her to make it easy. Like it's a change of life, and all we did is adjust your energy, clean up your nervous system. I mean, that's some good stuff.
That's
Like
some good stuff right
that's some
there.
good stuff right
I
there, and
don't care
it's
who you are. That's good stuff.
seriously. And I mean, it takes a little time and courage, but not really. It's like this on the realm of it. If you consider your timeline, right, from the moment you're born to the moment you're gonna pass, like that's a dot, right? That's a dot that could drastically change, the rest of your life. I mean, if
And
that's
not
not
only
inspiring,
not only is it changing my life, but it's changing the life of those around me, my
yep,
kids, my grandkids, everybody that I do life with.
yep,
Because not only does this impact my love relationship that I have with my husband, but it also impacts all the relationships that I
yep.
have. So it's truly life changing.
Yeah, and to consider, like I have one of my clients is in the middle of all this, and she's a little petite, 5 foot nothing, 102 pounds, seriously, in Los Angeles. So, and she's been assaulted a couple of times, so she never feels safe. She never feels safe, right? Just by her statute. But then she walks to the gym because she comes to my gym and she like zooms by because she's terrified because it's 60 men in there and these are the enemies, right? Shoo. Just get herself through there as soon as possible, um, to go to the other room to do whatever she's doing. And but so she went from a mindset of men are dangerous because that's how she experienced men her whole life, and not knowing why and who's dangerous. They're all dangerous. Do you know what I mean? That's how she protected herself. We took all that off of her, and she's still 100 pounds, 102 pounds, 5 foot nothing. But she now is walking through the gym with a slower pace, like a girl, looking at all the men and saying hello, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, because she now can recognize all the heroes in the space. So instead of men being dangerous in the space, same guys, she sees the heroes. She sees the man who acknowledged her back, and she could pick up that energy. And there's a handful of boys that ignore her, and that's beautiful. But it's like same gym, same circumstances, same people, different life, because she's now feeling safe everywhere she goes. Because as long as men are around, right, understanding masculinity and how to most men are that first, she's safe everywhere. It's a different life, you know?
Yeah, it's completely different. And to be able to walk with your head up, eyes up, looking
Yep.
and experiencing life instead of head down. So this
Yeah.
weekend, this last week, I went and I spent some time with my mom out in Abilene, and I was driving back and I was by myself, which I do. I do this trip every 2 months or so.
Hmm.
It's 3 hours, 3.5 hours. And I usually have to stop for gas or go to the bathroom or something. And it's usually fine. Well, I stopped Friday afternoon at this gas station, walk in to get a drink, and I'm walking. I see this man, and he's kind of gruff. He's skinny and kind of older and real gruff looking, like
Yeah.
just rough.
Yep.
And he saw me and he goes, "Well, hello there, doll." And I did not feel safe
Right.
because my
Because
man wasn't with me. and he
first.
gave me this creepy vibe.
Right.
And I felt him watching me. And so
Yeah.
I was very intent. I have a thing on my keys that it looks like a cat, but it's actually got like
Pepper
I'm
spray.
legit ready.
Right.
No, it's just that's a claw
Oh,
that
it's
I
a
could,
claw.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
And so I had that ready. And the fact that I haven't had to do that in so long, I haven't had to do that in so long.
There it is. Okay, that'll do it.
That'll
Oh,
do it.
that'll do damage.
That'll
Nice.
do it. And but to realize that for so many women, they have to walk in that fear all the time.
All the
It
time.
was the first time I've had a reminder of that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't like this at all.
Right. Because that just the awareness, you could look at him and go, oh shit, right? And then like be because the head down and trying to zoom by makes you look like a victim, makes you look like you're terrified, and that actually attracts danger, that attracts the bad ones, right? So if you're actually up and present and looking around and smiling, right? Occasionally you'll get a hey, 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 right? Which is like a wolf looking at a lamb, right?
He
And
thought I
that
was a lamb, but I'm not a
oh,
lamb.
my point is, my point is like he's thinking he's being complimentary, he's reacting to your femininity, except he's a creep and you can smell it because energetically you get it because the energy is like I'm a wolf when it takes having it, want to have a snack, like he wants to eat you literally, right? As opposed to hope you're safe, have a good day, nice travels, right? Which would be genuinely. My point is
Right.
like they're
I was
out.
able to see that. I was able to
That's what I
see
mean.
it and feel it.
Right. Because your awareness is present and you understand that these things obviously they're out there, but men are not the enemy. Those guys are. You just have to and when you tune in, it's right there for you. It's right there for you.
Yeah. And so I would just wonder, and when that kind of thing happens, if I hadn't gone through all this, would I have thought, oh, he's kind of into me. I wonder,
Right.
maybe he is mine. Like
Oh, maybe he's the one, right?
maybe, right?
Like
And how insane is that though?
well, when you're off balance, you're insecure, and you don't feel lovable, right? Any kind of attention is very tempting. It's like, oh, right, like this. Yeah, so that's how the boys do it. They know they can sense the insecurities, and they tap into it, and they tell you everything you want to hear, and seduce you really quickly, right? And tell you all the things that you want to hear as a teenage girl. It seriously, it works, but they have a nose for it. That's why they're dangerous. Just saying. So
Yeah,
trust
very
trust your
true.
intuition, right? When you're grounded in your
Yeah.
body and when you're in your essence, your gut is right there, and you listen to it because it's your life. I call it your divine radar. It knows, right? Don't ignore it. And the more grounded you are, the more protected you are because it's tuned in
Yeah, for sure. Well, we could do this all day
all
long,
day
and
long. I
so
know.
we're gonna wrap it for
Wrap it.
today. And I know that you have the workshop. You want to just offer that to anybody that's watching right now?
Yeah, so if you're, ladies, if you're listening to this and you like want a little bit more content material, one of the things that's on my radar lately a lot for ladies is the paradigm of like doing life, with I call it the money lane and the love lane. So if you step too much into money, business, career, your love lane suffers. Relationships are hard. Men don't want to be around masculine women. Da da da. If you lean into the love lane and want to build family and marriages and kids and all that stuff, your 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 money lane will. I don't want to suffer, but we can't be in both lanes at the same time. And the culture teaches you should be. A good woman should be able to do it all. It's crap. It's bull. It's impossible. But how is there a way to have it all? Yes. And that's what that workshop is about. It's 25 minutes. It's free. So if you email me at Andre Coaching, the number one at Gmail, and say workshop in the subject box, I'll send you the free 25 minutes. It'll give you there's a way to do it, but it's not what's out there. And what they're teaching us out there, it's everything at once, and it's impossible. So that will give you a sense of what I do, the work that I do, the kind of understanding that comes behind this machine of called life as a woman in the world. Not easy. I get it. It's not easy. So that's one. And if you're more of a, you know, action taker, two different kind of listeners typically on these podcasts. If you're more of an action taker, I said something that resonated, you're curious to know about more, guys, boys, guys, whatever. If you want more, you could Andre Coaching One. It's my personal email at Gmail. Put in the box, talk now. I'll send you a calendar link. You book yourself an hour. We'll talk one-on-one. It's not intimidating. This is who I am. But in that hour, I promise you we'll find out where, if you find yourself stuck in a loop with boys, how that started. Like 15 minutes and we're there. If you're a man who's stuck in his feminine and can't really, has a hard time stepping up and feeling any relevance in the world, you feel like you're stuck in nice guy syndrome and can't get ahead with women, can't get left in career and money, right? It's called wounded from childhood. The same thing. 15 minutes, we'll figure out how that happened. So that excuse me, that call itself is very liberating because it frees you from what's wrong with me and I'm broken. It's just circumstantial. So if we know what it is, we could fix it. And then what's the dream life? Relationship, kids, marriage, you bring it, companion, whatever. Like that's, yep. So there's different ways to get invested if you want in small, medium, large.
Yeah.
Come check it out.
One of the best things that's ever happened to me is being connected to you, which is
Sweet.
which is why I love to do these things so
Of course.
that we can help spread the word and get more people onto the side of healing and creating the life that they were meant to have.
That's my entire mission and goal.
Yeah. Well, very
Sweet.
good. Until